from the tap to tales galore. Oh, taste of stories, spinning yeast and grain. Mr. B goes round the world again. So if you like, then stick around. Cheers to the nights we banished all our fears. Mr. B will raise the bar, you bet. With every pint of ale we won't forget.
Hello, welcome back to the channel, and it's been a brew day. It's been an odd one because I've sort of gone back to basics on this one, just to try and sort of, it's not like show you, but you know, it's not like a how can I put it? This is what you can do if you've got a pinter, basically. I'm not telling you to do this, but I'm saying this is what you can do. And some of the stuff you might already have in the kitchen, which makes it easier. So I've done a brew day. We'll go to that brew day. This is the Tetley Mild that I'm brewing from the Let's Brew book from Ron Patterson. So it's a 1946 Tetley Mild. So there we go. It's a 6.5 litre batch because I think that's the right size for the pinter. So go and see the brew day, we'll come back and we'll have a quick chat. So all we've got here is 730 grams of grain for a 6.5 litre batch, but we're going to be using 100 grams of invert sugar free and 80 grams of dark brown sugar just to bring them fermentables up. But I'm following the recipe from the Tetley Mild 1946. Okay, so for this brew day, I'm trying to strip it back a little bit to basics. Just want to show people that they can brew all grain for the pinter, and all you really need is a pan. But I'm going to be doing this 1946 Tetley Mild. I've converted it all. As you can see, it's a very simple recipe. Pale malt, flake barley, sugars and fuggles. That's what I've got in there for a 6.5 litre. But yeah, the idea is stripping it back. I'm not going to do pHs. I'm not going to do any salt additions. None of that stuff. Just straightforward. Brew in the bag on the stove. So if you've got a pan that can hold around about 14 litres of liquid, you can do this brew in the bag for a pinter. And then obviously I'm using, because I'm homebrew, I've got my pan here a bit different. I've got my bag ready in there, so you need like a bag, brew in the bag you can pick up. But if you've got a pan, you're ready to go with a pan. I'll try and walk you through, because you've already got the pinter, you've got the fermentation vessel, and if you've got a sieve, some ice, you're already there. Don't forget a thermometer. You do need a thermometer just so you can get to the right temperatures. I'm looking at getting this water up to about 68 for a mash in at 65 degrees. So let's have a look. Where are we? This is in the pan of water now, 66. So I'm coming up to, I want to get to 68, and then I can mash in, and then I'm on my way with that mash for an hour. Okay, so I've hit that 68. So I've put the grains in, very minimal. I mean, it's all brew in the bag, so all the actual water is in there. So very, very minimal. That 730 grams of grain has just disappeared into this bag. But that's what you need, because this is a 2-hour boil. Now, if you go and check out my video on the equipment you need for brewing the bag, there is a video there, and it goes through what you do need. But honestly, most of it you've probably got in your kitchen, and not all brews are going to be 120-minute boil, so you won't need as much water as this. This will probably be the maximum water you'll need with being a 2-hour boil. But it's a 2-hour boil, to try to keep up with that traditional recipe. No other reason. Get some of that Maillard, whatever you call it, reaction, where it caramelizes for the colour. But got to sit this now for an hour, around about 65 degrees, to get them sugars converted. All that enzyme doing its good work. So yeah, so that's it. That's brew in the bag, straight in with the pan, in the bag, grains, a spoon if you've got a spoon. Like I say, keep going on about thermometer, and that's something you do need. But if you've got a pinter, you've got the fermentation vessel, which is the biggest thing, and the rest you can just go and check out my other video for. Okay, so we're at the end of the mash. So all you got to do now is get the mash, well, the brew in the bag out, the pan. But if you've got something like some sort of rack in the kitchen, it's a good time to use it. So what we're going to do is pull that bag out, and then use the rack to drain that grain. So rack over the pan, there's your bag, and then put the bag back on top of the rack, and then just let it basically filter out, get as much of that sugary water in there as you can. The wort, we'll call it now. So if you're wondering what yeast I've gone for WHC Lab Bond yeast. So it says this English style yeast provides a backbone for everything from IPAs to stouts to barley wine. So I'm hoping this is going to be good under the little bit of pressure that you get from the Pinter. So this is more of a if you want to video than a how to video. I'm just trying to keep it a little bit simple and just show you can brew all grain in your Pinter vessel. So this is the invert sugar, so I need 100 grams for this recipe, but honestly you could buy golden syrup rather than making your own invert sugar, just as good. So if that's easier, just get some golden syrup, and if you want it to be a little bit darker, just add a little bit of treacle molasses into it as well, just to get the colour. So for this recipe, as well as the invert sugar, we've got some dark brown sugar as well. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this, because I'm going to put this in at the beginning of the boil, just so if I was going to do it in more detail, I could get the gravity reading and just manage that throughout. But this is just straightforward. Like I say, it's not about following this recipe's video. It's about showing you that you can do all grain brewing in your kitchen for your Pinter, any recipe, not just this one. And like I say, the time on this one is way longer than normal. I'd normally boil for 60. This is 120, but it's only because I'm doing the Tetley mild, bit of a traditional 1946 recipe, and that's why I'm using sugars as well. Otherwise, normally I just use all grains. Okay, so what I've done, got some of the wort, put it in a little pan, put it on the heat, and all I'm doing is put my sugars in there, getting them melted, then add this back to the boiling pan. I'll do the same with the invert sugar. So I've got the invert sugar, same sort of idea. Just get it in there, stir it all up, melt it, and then add it back to the kettle. Okay, so you can see that's the colour. So it's just coming up to the boil. So I'm going to add this back to the kettle, the pan, as I should be calling it, and that's going to add some colour, as well as that 2-hour boil where everything's going to be caramelised. That's going to add some colour and some sugars for that final gravity for the yeast to convert into ABV alcohol. So we've added them sugars in, and now we're just waiting to get to that 100, or the boiling point, so the hot break, and then I'm going to add the first addition of Fuggles, which is a measly 2 grams, and then 120 minutes boil. Okay, 60-minute Fuggles going in, 120 minutes. See, I'm going off my old, what I normally do, 60 minutes. 120 minutes, first edition Fuggles. Okay, 60-minute Fuggles. 30-minute Fuggles going in. So for cooling, put it in your sink. And what I do, I freeze bottles of water and then put them back in for the next brew. So I'm not just like throwing ice away each time. So we've got like 4 of these bottles frozen, and they're in the sink just waiting for the wort to cool down before you can put it in the Pinter. So this is a hydrometer. So I'm just measuring, I'm aiming for 103.4, and I think I've got about 103.3 on the reading. So happy with that. So yeah, this will be something that you may need to purchase. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I've got a plastic funnel going into the Pinter, and I've got a mesh bag. So that's going to help filter the wort as it goes into the Pinter. So now, just got to fill up the Pinter and then add the yeast. So there we go, there's the wort going into the sanitised Pinter through the mesh bag in that funnel, and we're just going to go, it's about 6.5 litres of wort we want to make, just goes over that line, that Pinter tells you to fill, because that line is about, I can't quite remember the actual figure, but you do add about 1 kilo of syrup as well, so it works out about 6.5 litres. So, all gone in. There's a wort into the pinter. It's hard to see, so we're just over the fill line, and now just need to add the yeast, and I'll tell you how much that is in a minute. Okay, so I've got 3 grams of the Bond, the English yeast. 3 grams going in, and then just follow the normal process, so give it a shake and then add it to the docking station. So I've done I set it to 5 for the carbonation, so put it away now, and next time it'll be when I'm tapping it. I'm going for 12 days fermentation, 12 days conditioning, so 24 days for this, and then we'll see what it tastes like. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. So yeah, I did no water adjustments. The only thing I did do was the 24-hour water, left that overnight just to get rid of any chlorine. So I advise, if you're going to do it, to do that, or buy bottled water. Totally your option on that. And if you've got, well, I think I may have said it already, stuff that you need to do the pinter in the kitchen, all grain, is, you may have at home already, a 14-15 litre pan. If you haven't got one, they're about £20. These are like one-off purchases as well. A thermometer, just so you can keep an eye on the temperature of the mash, really. That's all you're doing. Over the hour you can turn the hob on and off if it's dropping. But if you've got a mash, and that's what I'm saying, it's not a guide, this video, it's more of, this is what you can do. So you need to keep it at a certain mash temperature over a period of time. A brew bag, they're about £12 from the malt miller. You might get one. I've got the one that was about £9.95 from Amazon. Hopefully I can put some links in the bottom. A simple funnel, just a plastic funnel, £1 from supermarkets. The mesh bag that I use for filtering, you can get them in your supermarkets near the fruit aisle. They're good for putting the fruit in, but they're fantastic for using for home brewing. They're about 30p. It's just easier than using any sort of strainer. Then you've got the hydrometer. They work out about £9, the hydrometer and the trial jar together, about £9. Again, Malt Miller will have them. There is other brewing shops online as well, or local homebrew shops if you've got one. And sanitizer, so you can use Chemsan from the Malt Miller. 100ml bottle of that is about £5.59, but you can use Star San, and you just make it's a very small amount to make 5 litres, and it's perfect for sterilising the pinter. And then the kits, so you could, obviously I'm more advanced into home brewing, and I build my own recipes, and I look at recipes and build the grain bills from that. But if you want to, go and check out the malt millers, because they have kitchen brewer series. They're like 5 litre kits, and also Get a Brewed, and they range from about £12 to £14, and that you get the grains, you get them crushed, you get your hops, and you get your yeast, all in that for 12 quid. So if you just do the one-off payment of all the equipment, then from then on it's like £12 to brew an all grain kit in your pinter. And or like I say, you can build your own. You can go on there, you could get a recipe, you could scale it down to 6.5 litres like I did, and then just build up recipes. Both of them got recipe generators, so you can just put in the actual amount of grains and etc. But then it might, like me, I used yeast, but I only used 3 grams of yeast. It's like an 11-gram packet, so I'm going to get a couple more brews, get another 2 brews out of that yeast. So it's just a way of saving money, but you could be more adventurous on the pinter, and I think it's great. For me today, it was hit the target. No, I didn't. I missed the target by 1 point. I was targeting an original gravity of 1.034. I got 1.033. I'm aiming for a 3.8% beer. They say Tetley mild, around about 3.8, and that's what I'm looking for. So hopefully it will attenuate. That yeast will eat all that sugar down and get me to 1.005. I've got a 3.8% mild in the pinter, and I'm looking forward to it. My first all grain in the pinter. That's the whole reason why I wanted the pint. I just wanted the vessel so I could do this sort of stuff. So there'll be a grain to glass video follows this. I've set that pinter on a 12-day for brewing, and then 12-day conditioning, and then I can taste it, and then I'll do like a video, the tasting, the actual this again, sort of the brew day again, the grain to glass video. But I just wanted to put this one out there, just to say you can do other things with that pinter if you've got the time as well, because that's the other thing. Time's precious to everyone, but if you've got the time, I'll be honest, you could be at in the kitchen for 4.5 5 hours to do this, but it feels like you're taking more ownership. You can tweak, you can do as you like to them recipes, so it's yours, it's your recipe. And when it comes out and you've achieved it, you'll feel a lot prouder. The pinter kit's good. I did the Trooper one, enjoyed it. I've got one off All the Beer No Idea dark matter syrup to do as well. I'm looking forward to that, so I'm not knocking them, but I'm just saying that you can get a bit more adventurous and a bit more personalised. You can personalise it, you can just take ownership and get involved and do your own recipes as well. I don't know if don't suppose anyone's ever had the Tetley's 1946 mild, but that it looks like it's going to be, I knew it was going to be a light mild. We used to call them light milds. Robinsons used to do like a light mild, but that's the colour it went into the pinter. So that's after the invert sugar, the dark brown sugar, 2 hours boiling. But like I say, this recipe is a one-off. When you get your kits, you're probably looking at 60-minute boils. Nothing like 2 hours for this. This is just it's a traditional kit. It's not the best example to run you through, but if I do anything that's more modern, I'll do a full like brew day kit and recipe and all that as well, which I do on other grain to glass videos. But there you go. That's well, let's have I mean, this is just sweet wort at the moment. It's not fermented, obviously. Malty. Tastes malty. It tastes pretty balanced as well. It tastes like I'm going to enjoy that when it comes out of the pinter, which is now put to bed for like that amount of time. So there you go. So that's my pinter, that's my experience, that's my first brew on it. Wanted to get this video out just to show people that you can do this in your kitchen with not too much stuff. Hopefully I put some images up of the stuff that you need, and hopefully you may have some already, or you may have homebrewed a while back, because that vessel takes no bottling, no kegging, you just literally, it's doing it all now. So that beer is going to be served, it's going to carbonate, it's going to build up pressure. I can tap it and then clean it and start again. And if you want to do that, like I say, the links will be below to some recommendations and hopefully some images to come up. But if you've got a 15-litre pan and you've got a funnel and you've got one of them little bags from the Sainsbury's or wherever, so there's not much more that you need to buy to get to the point where I am today. I normally do a lot more advanced. I normally do salt additions, I do pHs. I didn't do that. I just wanted to keep it as simple as possible, just try and take the fear out of people who want to do all grain brewing on the pinter. So I've got to say, any questions, please put them down below. And I've got a cup of tea, not got a homebrew, but cheers, and I'll see you on the next one.
So if you like, then stick around. Cheers to the nights we banished all our fears. Mr. B will raise the bar, you bet. With every pint of ale we won't forget.